Welcome back to the 21 Convention. I hope everybody enjoyed their lunch as much as I did. Our next speaker up, he's huge in the paleo diet, blogging, and as well as nutrition. He runs his own website, freetheanimal.com. I'd like for you to check it out as soon as you get a chance. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome Richard Nikoley to the stage.
Thanks, man. How's everyone doing? Everybody having a good time? This convention is any ideal men out there yet, or is it a process?
We're all ideal.
That's why they do these things, huh? It's a process. It never ends, right? So, like he said, my blog is freetheanimal.com, and if I ask you how many of yourselves regard yourselves as an animal, a human animal, like on the prowl for a pickup, or maybe even in the bedroom, you know, bonus points if you're told you're an animal. But do you take it fully? Do you take it fully to heart in all of its facets, in everything you do, in society, in other relationships, in business, the way you interact with people? Do you literally or figuratively, for example, do you literally or figuratively, you know, confess your sins to some big guy in the sky? Do you feel guilty and shame about yourself as a human being by your very nature? Do you, for instance, you know, wring your hands and agitate and look forward to stepping into that booth so you can vote your 1 in 300 millionth say in your own affairs? Are you anxious, concerned? Do you argue with other people about who should rule you next? Do you eat like a human garbage can? In your waking hours, can you go more than 2 or 3 hours without putting something down your face? I came to give you a perspective on being a human animal in all of those things I just talked about. And in my looking at, you know, kind of, I didn't know much about the 21 Convention, and I, you know, did my research on it, looked at some of the videos, and I see that how it kind of originally started, and I actually interviewed Anthony way back. There's a, I think, video on his website as well as mine. And you can see that the way it was formed originally has become different. Now you have things like money management and, you know, entrepreneurship and all of these other aspects other than just man-woman relationships. And so I'm here to kind of expand that, hopefully expand that a little bit more, give you some more things to think about how you can carry this kind of rational, being the ideal man, to other areas of your life other than just what's already been covered. So hopefully I'll touch on some new ground. So I'm here to talk about diet and generally stated individualism, but I want to do it from a framework that unites these topics and gets into some things like I mentioned in these questions about, you know, a little bit of religion, philosophy, social interaction, social philosophy, politics, government, the state. So a good way to look at this is that most of you out there are, you know, young 20s, I see. And so this is a good time because you have an opportunity to avoid some of the mistakes that I made. And I didn't make them all, but I made a few of them. And so it's a good time now so that you don't end up, you know, becoming some, if you want, it's your choice. I mean, you can always, you know, get married, have 2.5 kids, become a Democrat or Republican, go vote, go to church, do all these things. If that's the life you want, you're welcome to it. But I don't think it's a life fit for an animal. I don't think it's a life fit for a free animal. And I'm going to talk about that. So, I'd like you to consider that if you are this human animal I talk about, how is that constructed in society in your life today? I like to use the phrase zoo human or human zoo. See, I don't consider the society in which we live anything like what you might term as a wild human animal. And by wild, I don't mean you know, out there you know, using other people to your means or using force or anything like that. I'm just talking about living naturally. So I think there's this concept of this human zoo, and that we're actually more domesticated as animals than we are free animals. So now, who am I and why am I here? He talked about the blog. I want to give you a little bit of background. And I also noticed, you know, I actually considered, you know, doing a whole different speech altogether once I saw all the people in Vibrams here this morning. So I thought I'd talk to you for an hour about just going to the next step and just going barefoot. So you're welcome to join me, by the way. I do a lot of barefoot. I have Vibrams, but I actually do a lot of barefoot walking. I walk pretty much every day. I walk the dogs around the neighborhood barefoot. So, you know, people see me walking around and it's like, whoa, it's crazy. So, principally the reason I'm here is because I used to weigh like about 240 pounds. That was 60 pounds ago. I emailed Anthony about 3 photos of what I looked like in that sorry state about 4 or 5 years ago. And so they'll be on a computer if you want to ask Anthony, or you can go to my website, freetheanimal.com, and on the right sidebar there's a picture, and there's a link to latest photo, and it's a whole series of posts about, you know, the progress of losing weight along the way. So you can check that out if you want to. So that's my, you know, claim to fame, I guess you could say. So it was that whole thing. I got fat, of course, because of not managing my diet properly. But it was really more than that, because why would you allow yourself to get that way? You know, sure, it's the food, but that's not really the fundamental cause. That's not what it's work. It's something dysfunctional in the way you think, because you don't see fat animals in the wild, do you? Do you? How often have you seen a fat animal in the wild, unless they're designed to be that way? Well, yeah, that's the way it is by nature. You don't see any skinny hippopotamus. See, they're all the same, right? You have a bear gets fat and then he goes to sleep for 5 months, you know? So, you know, if humans hibernated, I suppose it would be appropriate to get into the state that I got in, and many people do. And what's really important to consider at your age, those of you who are young 20s, is that most of you can get away with it now. You can get away with eating garbage and crap, and it doesn't start catching up with you. You know, when I was young 20s, I'd eat what I want, you know, pizza, beer, fast food, whatever. Of course, it's gotten worse because it's so intensely marketed right now. I'll get into that a little bit more. But